Good evening and welcome to Friday's Live with me, Raj Nayak. With me this evening is a very special person. She's a fabulous human being, a dear friend, an actor, and she needs no introduction, Sonali Bendre. Sonali, thank you so much for coming on this live chat.
Hi everybody. I'm excited to be here. More than anything else, I want to know what Raj is up to. He's been so busy doing these chats and this has become this whole program that's happening. I was beginning to feel very left out that why am I not on this? And I want to know what is it that you're doing. So what better way to know that than be on it myself?
Thank you so much, Sonali. I mean, it's so strange that we live a stone's throw away from each other, and yet, we have to do this chats on virtual screens.
I mean, can you imagine? It was, I think the last time we met was when you came to see me in the US when I was going through my treatment. When you and Sabri was so gracious and you came to see me. And after that, we've been like literally that was across the world and we met up and here we are, like you said, stone's throw away and not being able to meet. Crazy.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. I mean, from there, the way you're looking so good now and touch wood, you recovered well. So, that's a great thing. So
But
tell
the
me.
good thing out of this is that all my life I've had poker straight hair, which was always very fine. And now suddenly I have volume in my hair. I love it.
Yeah, good. So tell me, I mean, since we spoke about New York and we had come to see you there, before you went to New York, you were very bold, you were very brave, and you publicly announced on Twitter that you were going through cancer, and you even put a hashtag switch on the sunshine. So I mean, how do you, I mean, in a situation like that, people, I mean, I know this because of experience within my own family, my mother-in-law, my sister, my brother. So, I mean, so you are very brave. I mean, and more importantly, you were so positive. And what made you, people normally tend to, you know, keep it a secret and things like that. But you were there, you were open. And I think today you become a huge inspiration for many people in this world.
Well, Raj, I didn't plan on being an inspiration, till today, I don't even think I was brave. I really don't think that. I think there was no other way to have dealt with it. One, because I did not want it to be distorted, and I didn't want it to become, fodder for gossip. And like I said, distorted news is always more scary, and especially for family and for people around you, be it my son who is young, and or older parents, or the rest of them. It just scares people. So I just wanted the narrative to be mine, and I wanted to have some sort of a control over the narrative. And so I said, rather than hiding things, and always in life, I've felt that the moment you hide something, it becomes this big deal. But this is what it is. And if I'm going through it, I'm going through it. Just face the reality and let's get on with it. I didn't want to be distracted with all this, with it being a distorted story or it being gossip. I just wanted to focus on healing, and I just wanted to focus on the treatment, and I just wanted to focus on getting better. Having said that, I think that switch on the sunshine is so applicable even today. I mean, we really don't need to go through a life-threatening illness or something like that to switch on the sunshine. I think this is one thing that we need to live by. And it was more like, when I felt that whole, it was like all this darkness down on my shoulder, on my head. It felt like I was being buried under the darkness. And I felt like, hello, let's just switch some sunshine on over here. And that's where it came from, switch on the sunshine. And then also you realize that there's always going to be situations and stuff that's going to pull you down. It's how you keep telling yourself to switch the sunshine on, and it's in your hand. The switch is in your hand. And you just have to work to reach the switch and switch it on. So,
You put it so beautifully, Sonali. I mean, it's applicable in any anything. I mean, today there are lots of people at home because of the pandemic and things, and a lot of people have lost their jobs, and a lot of people are going through different kind of troubles. I mean, this is switch on the sunshine. This is what it is, and you have to do your best to cope with it. I think.
Yeah, hashtags are very easy to make, and they're all very easy to say. Even today, now, right now, for me to say this, oh, we should just switch on the sunshine. It's very easy to say, but it's the hardest thing to do. And I also, when did like you brought up the pandemic and all the, I mean, the chaos that's going on, and the losses and the sadness, and there's so much of trouble that is that people are going through. And in that, I just want to say that, physical, what you go through physically, which is what I was going through, physical part of it gives you a goal to look at, and you say, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want to be. My platelets need to be here. My blood count needs to be here. My heart rate needs to be here. And this is how I need to achieve it. During the illness, what was just something that came to my mind but got brushed away. But during this pandemic, what has come and has really it has been the highlight, and it's something that got me to focus on it, was the that mentally what you go through is so much more difficult than what you go through physically. I genuinely feel that what I went through during my cancer treatment um, definitely is not easy, and I'm not fooling anybody by saying that. But I felt the pandemic was harder because it was all about mentally. Because then you doubt and you say, "Am I overreacting? I'm just imagining things. No, no, I can't be feeling like that. Oh, I'm not going to feel like that." But you can say all these things, but the fact is that you are, and you're going through chaos, and it's so much more difficult to deal with it. That it's just absolutely fine, I feel, to seek help, and to have somebody who can counsel you or to go through it, and it's absolutely fine and normal to do that, and it only helps. So the switch on the sunshine can be just a hashtag, but sometimes it can sometimes you might not have the tools, and it's okay to ask for help, and take the help of others to, maybe they can provide you with certain tools that you didn't know about.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I think, at least in India, probably now things are changing, but asking for help has always been considered a little bit, again, that also has been a little taboo in the past, you know, because people don't want to ask for help. They think that there's some problem. People don't realize that everybody needs help. So what is your suggestion in situation like this?
So even during when you said, even when the cancer diagnosis came in, and when I realized, when I put out the first post, and it was like, okay, I'm done with it, and I'm hibernating and recovering and all that. The response that I got from people, and when I realized that how many people don't really share this, and that was kind of shocking to me, and I didn't understand, why would you hide it? Why would you not share it? Maybe there are societal pressures, peer pressures. I don't know that, but the fact remains that when I told people and I opened out, I could receive help. I could receive the love. I could receive the positivity. Now, the amount of love that I got from everybody, and had I not shared this story, I would have been somewhere alone, fighting this, mentally going into, a low. But because I did put it out and I did share it, it gave, it gave me an opportunity to receive the love that was sent out towards me, the positivity that so many people sent out, be it the fans, be it friends, be it family, so many of them, and the prayers that people said. I think all of that kind of affects, because it's energy, and it was great, energy and a lot of love that was sent, and nothing, and I don't think anything in the world is more purer and better than love, the feeling of love and kindness and compassion. And that's what happened because I shared the news. So, in the same way, I feel that a lot of times what happens is that we don't acknowledge it. We just think that we are overreacting. Maybe it's the conditioning that we've all been brought up with. Don't make a fuss, especially as girls, as women. We are told, stop making a fuss. Don't be a drama queen. You're told that all the time. So every time you feel you're going through something, you say, am I being a drama queen? No, 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 let it be. Something else needs to be done now. So you don't kind of acknowledge it first. Eventually, when you start acknowledging it, you've progressed in that space, or you can say you've gone down the rabbit hole quite a bit, and it becomes harder to come out of it. So if, like with cancer, if we can have these conversations, then we realize that, let's talk about it. And sometimes just talking to your best friend, talking to your sister, talking to your mother or father, sibling, can just kind of sort certain things out. And sometimes you realize that this is not going to be enough, but then you can understand that no, these tools are not enough. I need more tools, and let me speak to a counselor. And that's fine too.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you said it so nicely, receiving so much of love and energy and prayers. And I can tell you for sure, the whole country was praying for you. I was praying for you,
Oh,
honestly, you know,
thank
and I,
you.
and I, and I mean it. So it,
Thank you. Thank you so
honestly.
much.
So when it, actually, I'm sorry, uh, you know, what was the first thought that came to your mind? Because you had to go abroad for treatment, and you had, Ranveer was very young at that time, and it wasn't easy for Goldie to be here and be in the US. So what were the thoughts that crossed your mind at that time?
Well, again, like I said, that Goldie and me realized that what our true wealth was. We realized that during this illness of mine, because our true wealth was the support system that we had, the relationships that we had, our friendships, our family. It's this support system. We didn't realize that we, somewhere one had kind of, it doesn't happen overnight. So obviously, this is what was our investment, which we were too naive to realize. But this illness taught us that this is what our true wealth is: the love and the support system and the caring that has come our way is what our true wealth is. So it just puts a lot of things in perspective where life is concerned.
Thank you, Sonali. I mean, it was very important for me to bring this topic up and get your inputs, because there are a lot of people watching, and lots many will watch later when I put this on YouTube. And that for those of you who are going through a similar situation, I mean, you can take inspiration from Sonali. And
Yeah, what I would say, Raj, is that there are a lot of times when we're so busy working and earning, and which is of course most, it is important and we do need to do it. But in that, there are a lot of times when we compromise on our relationships and our friendships, and that is why I'm saying that this illness is what made us realize that our true wealth was our relationships that we had and the support system that we had. So that's definitely, I mean, I don't wish this illness or some calamity like this on anybody. But life, that's life. And, it can throw anything at you. And what truly stays with you, and what truly is the only thing that, can actually be with you, is the love and the relationships. And hence, that is the investment that we all need to kind of focus a little bit more on.
yeah, I'm a firm believer. You invest in relationships that will stay with you lifelong. Money will come, money will go, but relationships will stay with you till the very end. Uh, so let me now rewind, switch gears, and so let me go back and ask you about tell me about your childhood. Tell me about your parents.
Oh my God. I have the most simple, grounded, down to earth parents. And that was one of the reasons why, wherever I was, I could have been the star outside. But when I came home, I was the daughter who lived in the house and who was supposed to make her own bed and pick up behind her. So that was the no nonsense upbringing. And till today, my parents don't really, are not comfortable with having too much help in the house, because they firmly believe that the moment we have too many people doing things for us, we are going to not move, and that's going to be the end of us. In old age, we want to keep moving, and that's why we need to do our own things, which is also a great lesson. Because when I see at this age also how active they are, that's the reality. And everything is not about going to the gym and working out, or yes, of course you need to be fit and everything, but doing your regular work, day to day things, doing it yourself, getting up and doing simple things yourself. I think in India, a lot of us uh, do have, a lot of help around. And mm, unfortunately, um, you can have them, but there is something like you can help the help also. And I do believe in doing that. I don't think help is there just so that they can be doing everything. I do believe that you can help them also. And in that, I think we are helping ourselves by doing certain things and keeping yourselves moving. So that's something that my parents still today don't want that too much of help at home, because they want to do things themselves. And beyond that, my father was a central government employee, and my childhood was spent all across the length and breadth of the country. So, though I am a Maharashtrian, I actually learned Marathi because my parents spoke to me in Marathi. But me and my younger sister, when we started speaking, it was in Hindi and in English. So, my thinking language is still Hindi and English, not Marathi. And a lot of times I know I speak it clearly, and but I don't think in it, and so I've not studied it, so it's just I mean, yeah. But like I said, it's my mother tongue. So that was the thing. Though I spent my childhood all across the country. At home, we spoke Marathi. They saw to it that we learned the language so we could communicate with my parents. Even if we asked them a question in say Kannada or Tamil or whatever language, wherever we were, we always got a reply in Marathi, and that's how we learned the language. Every few years, we were in a new place. Um, in fact, I thought we moved too much. And today, now, as I grow up, I realize that my father was one of those few people who, uh, I don't know how to say it, was held certain ideals and lived by that. And, he was in the central government, and as an employee, he was kind of a cog in the wheel for a lot of people. And because he was very clear about not taking bribes or not doing certain things, and so he kept getting shunted from that place, because from the various places. And that's how we would wonder why nobody else is moving so much, but we seem to keep moving so much. But that was the upbringing, and that is what is stayed. So somewhere those morals and certain way of living comes because that's the way we've been brought up. It's by example that we've been taught. And the fact remains that my parents still today don't know how to kind of uh, do what you would call the government employees do. So that was my childhood, and that's how it was. Because we moved so much, books were my best friends other than my sisters, because you kept shifting. So I don't really have childhood friends. So books have been my childhood friends. I envy Goldie the fact that he has so many childhood friends, because certain relationships, when you form them in childhood, are so amazing. But yeah, I do miss those relationships. But I think now, over the years, I've formed some really wonderful friends, and I'm happy I have those close friends now.
You
Wow,
know,
that was a long answer.
no, it was beautiful. I mean, one of the things that just stuck with me is you can have help, but you can also help the help. It's such a powerful statement, and I think I know we do it some more subconsciously, but I think if we are aware of it and we do it consciously, I think you can have help and you can also help the help. It's a great line. So you travel most of the places in India. Where were you born?
I was born here. I was born in Maharashtra because my mother came to her mother's house, and that's how it was. But after that, actually not just there, but from Nepal to Chennai, I've traveled across the country. Yeah.
Have you learned to speak any languages? Other
So
languages when you were studying
uh,
in those places?
now right now, especially after this illness, there's a lot of brain fog, so I tend to forget things a lot. But maybe that's my brain scoping mechanism. I don't know what it is, but I do. But it was easier for me when I did Telugu films or whatever. It was easier for me to kind of grasp the language and get the accent right, because I've traveled so much and I've done uh, you know I had mixed with so many people. I think the best thing about the traveling was the fact that I was very open to different kinds of people, different kind of cultures. There was a certain no amount of teaching and reading kind of gives that to you the way actually traveling does. That's something that mm, I think my son would miss a bit. I mean, I would love to give more of that to him. But the moment you live with diverse cultures, you automatically become much more accommodating.
What about your nana nani? Any memories of them about your grandparents?
So grandparents, my nani I remember, but my nana also passed away. I was pretty young, and like I said, we would come in like literally for 10 days or something in a year, sometimes once in 2 years. So it's really not been that much of this thing. My father had lost his father when he was very young, and then he lost his mother while I was very young. So I don't really remember so much because, and like I said, we were traveling. She was not living with us, so I would meet them only on holidays. Though my nani, I remember a lot more because I lost her only after I started working. So I got a little more time with my nani, who was not a very educated woman. She was the typical that Nawari wearing, kashta wearing, not really educated in that sense, but there was a habit that she had. She would finish all the work in the morning, and afternoon was her time at that in this zone also, and she would read and take a nap and read, and then get up and start the rest of the day. And when I was getting these offers to be in movies, and the family was like, nobody has really done this. This is nothing we know about this and everything. And I remember the only person who was like my nanny said that, whom we call Aji in Marathi. And my Aji was like, but if people are offering her something, and if because maybe they see something in her and maybe they can always say no. So if she's getting the offers, then maybe there is something in her, and maybe she should try it out. There's no harm in just turning back if you are not comfortable. Turn back. If you are not comfortable, turn back. Who It's not a hard and fast rule that you have to go through with it. And that has stayed with me. That is something that she told my mother, and my mother has also said that to me all the time. In this zone, it was always like, okay, let me try it out, and I can always come back and do something else. So I always stepped into the line knowing that I can always go back and do something else. So that was always a thing. The other thing was that when I started working, my mother never came to the sets with me. I had a younger sister at home, and my mother said, I have a younger daughter at home, and she needs me right now. And my mother just told me one thing. She said, if you were working in an office, I wouldn't be coming and sitting on the desk next to you. This is your job. You're going for a job. Treat it like a job. Come back. And that is how it has been. Now it's all a big deal. At that time, everybody had their mothers and everybody following them. I never had. My parents, my sisters never came with me. I had my team with me, and that was it. And I think people who had so many people and mothers around them were up to a lot more naughty things than I was. Because for me, it was more like, oh my God, I can't do this. My mother trusts me too much. And I'm like, you've been very, very, very smart. Because had she been there, and probably at that age that I was in, had she been there telling me, don't do this, don't do that, I promise you, I would have wanted to have done that. But because she said, okay, this is what it is, this is what it is, I trust my upbringing. And I hope you remember that whatever you do reflects on your family. Oh, that burden, whatever you do reflects on your family and how we brought you up, was the line that just grounded me and made me behave.
Yeah, because yeah, but the forbidden fruit is always the temptation is more, right? I mean, as long as you're allowed, people trust you. I think you then it's different.
And you
So
want to live up to that trust then. Yeah.
yeah, you want to live up to the trust. And so tell me, you mentioned your sister. How many siblings are you?
We are three sisters. So I have two sisters, one older than me, one younger than me. And yeah, I think we've all had our lives. And as I said, like, because not too many friends, so we've always been close. But after that, all three of us have our own families and we've been this thing. But I think 2018, the illness has brought us together and made us realize how much time had passed, and how made us promise each other that we're not going to wait for some horrible thing to happen, or just to kind of we what we have done now is that we make having a lunch and having a coffee a more regular feature rather than something that you did only, like you're meeting up with the parents, you're doing, rather than making it this whole family thing and everybody getting together, just the three of us getting together. So I think it's this going through this illness has been a great journey for us as siblings also together. It's been a growth.
Yeah, I met one of your sister when in the US when I had come. One of your
Yes,
sister was with you.
my elder sister had, she had put her life on hold over there here and had come there and was my primary caregiver with Goldie. Between her and Goldie, they managed a
Yeah.
lot of things. And before she could put her things in together and come there, my younger sister had come in, who has twins, and hence and younger twins, so needed to get back. But so she came in and took over and handled it with Goldie. And then once my elder sister came in, whose son is obviously older, and so she could kind of organize her life and come. Then my younger sister went back. So yeah, it was it was a boon to have them.
Coming from a very, I wouldn't say conservative, but from a very, not from a filmy background, uh, you always wanted to be an actor?
No, I didn't know about this profession, in fact, because I'd barely seen any movies, and my parents' way of bringing us up and keeping us focused, or kind of. We didn't even have a television in the house, and it was more like read the books and whatever. So the television came in much later in our lives. So what I'm trying to say is that there was no question of film magazines being there. So I was very raw and very naive when I got into this industry. I was so clueless that if I was a producer, I would never give me job any work. It was so I was so like not prepared.
So how did it happen? How did you get into
Well,
film?
it was just about the looks, and it was because of the looks that kept getting offers for modeling, and from modeling into films. And so there was nothing really that I did. It was basically the genes, because the looks are the genes. There's nothing I have done about it. So can't take credit for any of it. I think eventually I would say now, all these years down the line, the fact that I still have some sort of a work space going, now I can say that yeah, I've been working towards this, or I've been doing towards this. But the beginning was just pure looks and luck that got me in, and I'm very grateful for it, because I'm so I found my I found my rest of my family in the industry. I met my husband here, and my wonderful sisters-in-laws. I met them here. So I found the rest of my family here, and so in a way it was meant to be, I feel, and I'm grateful that I got the opportunity. But it was not from me working towards it and getting it and going for it. My struggle has been after I got the jobs, and to kind of understanding the fact that I was so not prepared. And then, you're working and preparing. So it was, though that period of my life was so hectic, because I understood how unprepared I was, and hence then my dance classes. And so I would do two shifts and yet put in, dance practice and stuff like that. So I think once I started working, I must have put in at least some 7, 8, or maybe the first 10 years of my life, literally working 20 hours a day. So yeah, it was hard.
What has been, if you go back memory lane, what has been your highlights or your greatest moments or your lowest moments in your journey in the film industry?
Oh, well, it's like life is about highs and lows, and there are going to be highs and there are going to be lows. So yes, I've had my share of highs and lows. The highs have been the movies that I have done, the people I have met, the relationships that I've formed in the industry. The high has been kind of understanding. Initially, I started treating it, it was a profession, it was a way of making money. The high has been falling in love with the job, and I really didn't expect to fall in love with it, but I did eventually. That has been a high also. The high has also been how I have learned how I have grown, in the thing. The low in this has been the fact that I think I wasted a lot of opportunities because I was not prepared. And there were a lot of things that I could have done differently, and I was too scared. The low has also been the fact that because I didn't come from a film family and didn't have all this thing around me, I think I was a little more conservative in the way I was dealing with everybody, and I had this huge wall, my defense mechanism, and I had a fortress around me, and I really took very long to let people in. So I was looking at everybody with a lot of suspicion, as to, because I didn't know the line, and I was like very suspicious about everybody and every move. And I think that was unfortunate, because of that, I think I lost out on a lot of opportunities, relationships, friendships that today when I look back, I'm sure I would have done a few things differently. It's not a regret, but definitely those are the lows. Some of the lows have also been the fact that you understand that where you come in the pecking order on a set, and understanding that you're really not that high in the pecking order of things, um, was a kind of a low, because you understood that you are not the highest paid, and you might be very professional, but you might get there and you'll have to wait and wait and wait for people to behave professionally, and kind of just do some basic things which are professional and it should be done in any profession. But those were not the norm. So those were a couple of lows that were there. Having said that, every industry, every profession has its share of good people and not so good people. I wouldn't say bad people, because I think they are just victims of their own circumstance and their own upbringing. So I would not call them bad people, but definitely not so good people. And I think I met my share of those not so good people. But like over the years, and when you look back now, I think the good out of it has been far, far outweighs the not so good in my life.
Great. And you've been extremely successful. And then you did television.
Mm.
So how did your television transition happen?
Well, nobody was really doing television at that point of time when I did a show called Kya Masti Kya Dhoom. And that I was dating Goldie at that point of time. And what I also realized were there were certain limitations to me, and there were certain things that I was not ready to do, and that was, I wouldn't say a weakness. I think that was my strength. But there were certain paths that I was not willing to go down, and hence I knew that there was only so much that I could achieve in this. And here came a line which was very interesting, and it was not cinema, so to say, but for me it was again, it was somewhere where I could be myself, and I could, how do I say it without being, uh, okay, maybe should not be so diplomatic about it, but I say that, hey, you know what? I don't want to be treated like this. I don't want you speaking to me like this. I'm not going to do these things. And here I could have been in a position where I would then probably not have work. Understanding the fact that these were the limitations and there was no way I was going to cross certain lines, it helped me take this diversion early, which eventually turned out to be a great thing, because by the time everybody started getting into television, I had been there and I had got the price that then was afterwards, would not have been possible.
Yeah, I remember Kya Masti Kya Doom. I was working in Star TV at that time, and I sold your show, just for your information.
I
I,
remember.
yes,
Yes,
I was heading sales and marketing at that time at Star.
yes. I mean, what a team at that point of time. Sameer Nair, Tarun Katyal, you. Oh my God, all of you were right there. I remember the show was produced by TV18, which was Vandana, and so it was just amazing. The people, it was it. I think it was one of the
And it
best.
was that year. I also remember it was one of our best promos.
It was one of the best times. It really, that it gave me a lot of confidence, because it was my show. It gave me a lot of confidence in myself, and it was an eye opener for me.
And after that, you hosted so many shows, India's Got Talent, and uh,
I judged them actually.
you
Other than
judged. Yeah, you judged. Yeah,
never hosted any other show
you
other
judged.
than
So,
Mission Impossible, which was again, it was, it was my way of giving back in the sense of, you can write checks and you can do all of that. But when your profession is of a certain kind, like a teacher, if they're teaching somebody and not really charging for it, is their way of giving back through their profession. This was my way of giving back through my profession. So other than these two, I've been judging a lot of the other shows, which was also, I felt that, when you did TV and you had these shows, it was like going to office for me, because by then I was married, I had a child, and I wanted to kind of limit my, I needed certain fixed hours. When you did do a movie, then a month, 20 days, whatever that outdoor is, you need to go and do that. I was not ready to do that. So for me, this work, one day in a week or 2 days in a week, you went, you worked, you came back. So the balance for me with my home, my child, and keeping on working, I think, television gave me a perfect outlet for that.
so you met. No, that's very nice. And you met Goldie in this journey. And so, tell us about your romance.
Oh God. I met Goldie when I was shooting for my first film, and my first film was Naraz with Bhatt Saab. And Goldie was producing a film with Bhatt Saab, and he would come on the set for, because they were writing. We were on the outdoor in Chennai, and while I was shooting for him, and Goldie would come. So they would hang on the set because post the shoot they would be sitting and writing. So in the daytime, he would be there on the set, and I just found him very annoying because he was constantly asking me so many questions. And every time I was reading, he would keep, like, getting there, and I was like, this is getting nowhere. But he was persistent, and I'm glad he was. There was nothing like a, oh my God, this is happening just now. It was a gradual process, and I think that's why it is solid, because it was a gradual process. We were acquaintances, then we were then eventually that same film that he was doing with Bhatsa, after a couple of actresses didn't work out, it was me doing the film. Then we had a professional relationship, from where we became friends, then we became best friends. And then when he said that, we should take it forward, and I was like, I have very few friends, and if this doesn't work out, I don't want to lose a friend. So, stop it. I'm not going to do this. So he was like, you're not going to lose a friend. So, there was this whole push and pull about this going on for a while. Then eventually I did say yes, and we did start dating each other. And I think we dated each other for about 4 years. And then, yes, we got married.
Great. And
And
Goldie,
here we are.
yeah, and Goldie is a great guy. Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about Ranveer. How's he doing?
Well, uh, he's doing well. At this point of time, he has both his arms in a cast and a knee is busted.
Oh,
So,
what
yeah,
happened? What happened?
he's fallen off. He's had a bit of a mishap. That's how you grow, and how boys will be. Yeah. So, anyway, so he's recovering from that. I have him where I want him, right under my thumb. He cannot get up and go anywhere. So I'm enjoying this time where he can't move, and I have to feed him. And, so I'm enjoying that time. But I think where pandemic is concerned, at one point when I was in the US going through my treatment, I felt I was losing out on a certain amount of time with my son. And I felt that pandemic and now this fall of his has kind of given me that time back with him. And so that part of the pandemic has been really nice, that we could get that family time together, because the 2 years, 2018 to 2019 June, that whole year was chaotic. And then from 2019 June onwards is when the recovery started. So in 2020, I just about started stepping out, and when the pandemic hit. So it was a great time for us to kind of bond and get that family time together. I felt like maybe there was a reason why universe had just given me this that little time that I'd lost out again, is how I look at this pandemic.
You look at everything so positively. That's so great. So
No, I'm trying. I don't succeed all the time, but I'm trying.
So tell me about, we can't not discuss your doggy because he's there in all your Instagram
Oh,
shots.
yeah. Yeah, she's there. I don't know where she is right now. Somewhere. She's not here. Yeah, she's a diva, and she's the joy of my life. And I really feel that she's been, the unconditional love. I don't know what is it, the energy that dogs give. You know, you are a dog lover, and you know the kind of energy that they give. I felt it helped my healing. The whole process of being able to hug her and that energy that she gives, I felt it helped my healing.
Yeah. What have you named her?
So her name is Isis, and it's so controversial when we say that, but Ranveer named her Isis because Isis is the Egyptian goddess of life and magic, and that's why she is named Isis, because she's for him he said that, Mama, she's a goddess of magic. She's magical. And she's life for me. And that's why he named her Isis. But of course, now Isis has all these various, it brings up this horrible, frightening scenario when you say Isis. So the short form for her name is Icy. We do call her Icy all the time. So we stick to that.
So she's
Because of
not.
on beach, if I start calling her Isis, I'm going to have cops. It's going to be a scary scenario. So yeah, Icy is a good idea then.
So you call her Miss Icy now.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was a beautiful picture you put on Instagram where Miss Icy, Ranveer, Goldie, and you were in the pool together. It was
Oh
so
my
pretty. It
God.
was.
So I love places which are pet friendly, and they should be very. In our country, we have very few places which are pet friendly. We all treat it like, oh, even when you talk about it, a lot of time people say, oh, look at the attention you're giving a dog. I mean, it's a pet, and that's family, and it's doing something. It gives us a lot. There is the for me, I always felt Ranveer was an only child. Having a little puppy which was chewing up your favorite toys, chewing up your favorite shoes and t-shirts or your furniture in your room, uh, I thought was a lot of lessons that he was learning from there. He was learning to share, and he was learning that, in family, things can break, things can fall apart, but that doesn't mean that the relationship breaks. And I think these were the lessons for my son, which can come only when there is there is a mute animal in your house, a pet, because if that pet is not able to speak, it teaches you compassion when you start dealing with a pet. And that is why I needed a pet for my son to grow up with, because I think it makes him more compassionate.
Yeah. It teaches a lot of empathy for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, how old is Ranveer now?
So when I was diagnosed with the cancer, he was 12, going on 13, and he's 15 now.
And has he shown any inclination as to what he wants to do?
Oh, not really. It's all over the place at this point of time. There are various things that he's really interested in. He's creative, but there are different things. And I think at 15, they are, the creativity is all in the video games that they're playing
Yeah.
and stuff that they're watching. And the way I think the millennials have a different way of thinking, and it takes me a little while to kind of understand the way their brain functions. I don't claim to really totally understand it yet, but I do understand one thing that I keep telling myself, Goldie and me as parents, we keep telling ourselves is that, the fact of the matter is that when Ranveer was born in 2005 is when YouTube was born.
Same
Right?
here.
And for Ranveer and his age group, their rock stars are not these musicians or the actors, it's the YouTubers. And for us, it is just about what 10, 15 years now, and there are these the hugest influencers and so-called heroes are a profession we had no idea would exist.
True.
So having understood that, I don't know when he starts working, what is the profession that's going to be out there? What is that is going to be? I have no clue. I mean, Goldie also, we have no clue about it. Where is artificial intelligence going to go? What is really, really actually needed? So we decided that let's not presume that this is what he might want to do. What we are trying to do is, there are certain things, however technology might change, however the world might change, there are a couple of things that are never going to change in the changing scenario. And that is, there are certain values and morals and kindness and compassion. These are a couple of things, relationships and EQ. I do feel that with the amount of artificial intelligence that is in play, uh, you cannot match that IQ. So, what is going to keep the humanness for my child and for us as human beings, I feel, is the EQ. And so, that is what, as parents, we would like to focus on where he's concerned. So, we have no clue what is it that he is going to do. All we can hope for is that he has a job that he loves doing and hence is happy doing it. And it's not a job that he's doing because he needs to do it for money. um, that's all that we can hope for and prepare him for life.
Yeah, so nice. I mean, you mentioned IQ and EQ. I just wanted to tell you, I've set up a company which does only this, where we use artificial intelligence, where one of the things that research has shown
Mm.
is that, you know, especially in big organizations, people measure how you think, but nobody measures how you feel. You
Yeah.
know, and it's very, you can measure how people feel. If you're 20 or 30 people in a room, you can sit and chat and you can measure their emotions, right? But how do you measure emotions at scale,
Mm.
right? And that's exactly what we've launched. We measure emotions at scale. And again, research tells you that 80% of your decision that you make is uh, done
Emotion.
by your heart. It's done by your emotive brain. The cognitive brain then justifies it. You find a rationale, because most of your decisions are actually taken. That's why we say gut call. We say these things and we want
Absolutely.
to validate it. So since
Right.
you mentioned that, this is something that we've launched and we found some good traction, and that's something that we're working on. Like you said, the future is evolving and changing so fast that there's nothing called future ready. I keep telling people there's nothing called future ready, because the future is changing as we talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's exactly why, even when I wrote the book that I wrote, and that's the thing, it was so scary that, first of all, you know I mean, everybody becomes a parent and there is a child born every second, no, whatever the statistics might be. But the fact remains that however often a child might be born, it is still a miracle. And when your child is born, it's your miracle. And you are, however you might think you are preparing for it and everything, you're totally unprepared for it. And nobody can really tell you, and there's no formula that you can follow. And it is a path which is uniquely your own, and you have to find that path yourself. And hence, when I was going through all of that and really stressing about it, after my child was born, was when I said that, what, I mean, we sat down and this was the conversation that we've had over many days. We said, what is it? So future is unpredictable. We don't know what it is. We don't know what he's going to do. What is predictable? And we realized that these are a few things that, be it Gurukul times to now, whatever the today's education is, there are certain things that don't change. And those are the things that we need to hold on to as human beings, and as parents try to pass it on to the child. And I hope we succeed, but we will only know that 10 years down the line, when as he becomes an adult. This is what we are hoping. But I hope we've achieved that, and I can only pray for that. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, both Goldie and you have so much, so much of value systems that you follow. I'm sure Ranveer will do very well, and he's a handsome young boy, and he's gonna be very successful. So you mentioned about you also written books. So I want to come. You have something called this book club,
Yes. It's called the Sonali's Book Club.
Sonali's book club. So tell me about Sonali's book club.
So the thing was that for the longest time I was not on social media, because as you've seen with this, as soon as I have to be on tech and me, I start getting palpitations. So I was not on the social media for the longest time. I know my son wanted to be on it. And like Goldie said that, listen, you know what he is going to do? You can't keep policing him. He has to be able to police himself. And that will come only when you can't stop them. It's better that you join them. And hence when he got onto it, it's just, you are also onto it. So the universe that was there in the social media was that your aunts, your siblings, your parents, everybody follows you and everybody knows what is happening and stuff like that. So because you can't monitor it, so it's better that you kind of embrace it. Still, I took my own sweet time on doing it. Then it came to a point where my team was like, listen, there are too many fake accounts and we can't keep correcting it and everything. It's better that you have an account which has the blue tick, so you know that we know that this is the place where the stuff comes out of. So I said, okay, I got onto it. When I got onto social media, honestly, I just felt that why the hell have I taken so long to get onto it? It is such a powerful medium, and it was so liberating to connect with your fans directly and not have a version of what the journalist thinks going to them. Excuse me. So that communication and the amount of stuff that was out there and what all you could do with it was just such a powerful medium to interact with people. And then, like with anything that is powerful, it has its plus and its minus. It has its good side and it has an ugly side to it. So once you understand that, the idea was, how do I use the good side and how do I diminish the ugly side? And the idea was to do something with it which was productive. And this was a period of time where I had gone off reading and I felt I was plateauing. I was not growing anymore. I thought I was not evolving as a person. And I just kept craving. I knew that I needed to read more. But the habit of reading after the child now, with the amount of you get it in snippets now, so your attention span has reduced. So I realized I was getting out of the habit of reading. So this way, by forming the book club and getting a book and then having a discussion on it, it was just a way of getting myself, you know giving myself a timeline where I would have to read a book so that I would discuss. And that's how the book club started. And I just thought I would do something which was my love of reading. I thought it was a very positive thing to do, and to just kind of start growing this community a bit. And touch wood, it's I think it's taken off quite well.
So do you have some membership or something, or it's just
No, you can. It's on Facebook. You just kind of get onto the book club, but you have to be. You can give, and it's not open in that sense because we accept members, and the idea is not to have numbers and kind of we're all living on this thing. How many likes? How many followers? Oh my God!
validation? Yeah.
It's crazy. But I think I've been very clear about it's not the amount of followers, but the kind of people. So because if it's a book club, then there are certain people who are not going to be interested in it. And then those are coming onto my Instagram profile where they are telling about what is it that they want to talk about, be it the looks or be it the clothes you're wearing or whatever. But on the book club, we want to discuss books. We don't want to have other conversation. And I wanted to keep that sanctity of it, and so that you could have meaningful conversation about the books. And hence you can kind of tap in, but we kind of check the people and then let them into the group. So we've tried to keep it as book friendly as possible, and I keep it as like genuine book lovers as possible.
It's so beautiful. And I don't know whether you know, but Sagri is an avid reader. I mean, she sets a target. I think this year she's already read more than 70 books. So she sets a target of 100 books in a year and she finishes it. She's a
Who does that? Sorry, I missed
Sagri,
that.
Sagri, my wife.
Oh, yes, Sagri is yeah, she's a voracious reader. I know. In fact, I think that's a good idea. I should now ask her to give me a list of books that she likes and maybe put that up.
Maybe she can send you some books, which once she finishes reading, we give away
Yeah,
our books.
I
So
would love to.
we do
Love
that.
to. Yeah, yeah.
It was so nice speaking to you. And I was just looking at the time and it's 1 hour just flew by.
Yes, it was lovely. Raj, we haven't caught up for the longest time, so it's good to see you after so long. And like now, I think this pandemic is, it's not really going away as fast as we thought it would go away. So, like, other than the switch on this sunshine hashtag, The other hashtag was the new normal. And I think that hashtag is also very applicable with this pandemic. I think we all need to look for the new normal and find a way to kind of go on with life in the new normal.
So for our viewers who don't know, Sonali is born on 1st of Jan. That's her birthday. And my birthday is on 2nd of Jan. You know, the year we were supposed to celebrate it together. I don't know whether you remember, about 3 years ago.
Yes, yes.
We will do it some next time,
We
when
will.
all this is over.
Yes,
All
one
this-
of we are going to do it.
So I want to wish you Merry Christmas in advance and a Happy New Year. Have a fabulous 2021. We shall connect before that. And would you like to say anything to the viewers who are watching?
Well, first, I would like to wish you and your viewers, a Merry Christmas and a great New Year. Actually, great is not the right word. It's at the situation that we are in. I really, really would like to wish everybody, you and all your viewers, a more calmer and more what would I say, more suddenly my brain fog has kicked in and I've switched off, but a more loving, peaceful,
Happier.
calmer, joyful is the word, joyful new year. And I really hope that 2021 kind of takes off to be a better year than 2020. And I hope that we all have learned a lot of lessons in 2020 and we can kind of put them into practice in 2021 and kind of start moving on from what this year has been.
Thank you, Sonali. Thank you so much. And to all our viewers, thank you for coming and watching the show. Please follow me on Raj Cheerful on YouTube, on Facebook, and every Friday. I'm taking a short break. So Christmas and New Year, there won't be Fridays live, but after that, we'll be back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.